40 years and going strong. The St. Louis Storytelling Festival next on City Corner. City Corner. Lisa Overholser is the Executive Director of the St. Louis Storytelling Festival, and she joins us now. Hi, Lisa. Welcome to the show.
Hi. Nice to be here.
And I should say the 40th festival.
Yes.
What a history the St. Louis Storytelling Festival has.
Yes, 40 years.
Now, you don't go back with it that far.
I don't. I've been here since 2014, but the festival has indeed been going strong for 40 years.
Well, before we go any further, you're actually with Missouri Extension, MU Extension. Am I putting that the right way?
Yes.
So how does that tie into the festival, and what's the relationship there?
It's a good question. So the festival 40 years ago started as a collaboration between University of Missouri St. Louis and the Gateway Arch National Park. And it was a way to celebrate the stories of St. Louis. It was a collaboration between those two institutions. So the festival for many, many years was produced and organized through the University of Missouri St. Louis on the Umsel campus. It started off as a two-day festival, storytelling sites all around the St. Louis metro area. In 2014, however, the festival moved to MU Extension. University of Missouri Extension is sort of the outreach and engagement arm of the entire system. Mm-hmm. So a lot of people don't know MU Extension exists. They associate Extension with things like 4-H or the State Fair, agriculture. But we do actually have Extension offices here in St. Louis City, where I work. And so the festival went under the umbrella of MU Extension in 2014. And what that means actually is that rather than being a collaboration between one campus and the Gateway Arch, it's now kind of the whole university, and it's a network of other programs like 4-H and Master Gardeners and nutrition and robotics and all kinds of stuff. So it opens up some new avenues.
So the St. Louis Storytelling Festival runs from April the 25th through May the 4th, and it's at multiple locations across, I guess, the metro area pretty much, isn't it?
Yes. We have several venues in St. Louis City, St. Louis County, St. Charles County, Jefferson County, and we're also over in Metro East. Mm-hmm. So it's all over. And
why do you think it's so popular? I mean, if you just heard, oh, I'm going to go hear someone tell a story.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Storytelling is one of the most primal kind of innate art forms that there is. Everybody is a storyteller. Everybody tells stories. It's very relatable. It's one of the oldest forms of communication, and it's also one of the most fluid and adaptable. It really adapts over time. And those stories that we tell, are just, they touch upon universal truths, and I think that touches people in a way. A lot of people don't understand what storytelling is. Mm-hmm. They assume it's either, just kind of reading out of a book to kids, story time, and that is, storytelling. But there's also storytelling for adults. There's storytelling that's, extended epics, fairy tales, urban legends, spoken word. There's all different kinds of storytelling.
Is it to teach you something, or is it just entertainment?
It's both. It can be both. It's very educational, and at the Storytelling Festival over the 40 years, that's kind of really been the core of our festival. We go into a lot of schools, we go into a lot of libraries. Our storytellers are professional tellers who have really done a lot of research. They make curriculum connections in a lot of ways, so it's very educational in that way.
I think you made the point in the beginning it was more locally featured, but now what the festival brings in noted storytellers from across the country. Mm-hmm.
This year we have a great lineup of 9 professional award-winning storytellers from all around the country, including one storyteller coming from Northern Ireland. And we have a special guest storyteller, Jay O'Callahan, who will be doing a special program, Forged in the Stars, on Friday, April 26th. He's doing a program that was a collaboration. It was actually commissioned by NASA to tell the story of NASA on their 50th anniversary. It's a wonderful story. He's also doing a workshop on April 27th. So, I mean, these are storytellers that have traveled the world telling their stories. They performed at Kennedy Center, at the Smithsonian. they really know their art form, and they're very good at what they do.
How do you find these people? And there must be like this inner world of storytellers, right? Are they always busy? Is there always a festival somewhere that they're going to?
There are a lot of storytelling festivals in the world. You know, the National Festival, the National Storytelling Festival, of course, happens in Jonesboro, Tennessee, and we have a very close relationship with them. But there's kind of a storytelling circuit, and a lot of professional storytellers, that's what they do. They travel all over the world, not just in the United States. They go to Singapore, they go to Europe, they go to South America. So there's kind of that circuit, but storytellers are also employed at hospitals, at you know, libraries, at educational institutions. They perform at places like the Kennedy Center. They do TED Talks. I mean, they they apply storytelling and what they know about storytelling in a lot of different contexts.
Well, you brought along some pictures of some of the storytellers that are going to be featured at this event. So why don't we look at them, and you can tell us about these individual storytellers
Sure.
and sort of what they bring to the table.
So Bill Harley is a St. Louis favorite. Bill has been coming to the festival on and off for several years, and he's returning this year as one of our featured storytellers. He has a lot of children's books that he's published. He's a favorite of St. Louis audiences, so we're very happy to have him. He will be here. All of our featured tellers will be here Wednesday, May 1st through Saturday, May 4th. And you can see Bill any one of those evenings. He'll be performing each evening. Thursday evening is our Thursday Later Tales, and those are stories for adults. And they're a little bit longer stories. It's not that the stories are, you know, vulgar or anything like that. It's just that it's a little longer and it's specifically for adult audiences. So he will be performing in one of our Thursday Later Tales programs.
Let's see the next storyteller.
This is Antonio Sacre. He comes from Los Angeles, and Antonio he's also a favorite of the festival. He is a bilingual storyteller in Spanish and English, and he has both Cuban and Irish parents. So he kind of has a unique perspective, and he tells stories kind of from those experiences. He's also done a lot of storytelling shows in Hollywood, and he's great. He's published a lot of children's books as well. But he will also be performing Thursday Later Tales.
Let's go to the next one.
Bill Lepp, another favorite of the festival. He's a 5-time winner of the West Virginia Liars
He looks
Contest.
like he's up to something.
He is up to something. He's kind of always up to something. And when you listen to him tell a story, you can see that he's kind of always up to something. And he loves telling about those exploits. So he's another favorite. He'll be performing in Thursday Later Tales as well.
Next.
Diane Ferlat has been to the festival as well. So she's coming back. She was steeped in the oral tradition from her family and community. She grew up in Louisiana and heard stories from her parents and her community. She actually performs with a drummer who will be accompanying her. And so she will also be performing in Thursday Later Tales program. So we're excited to have Diane back as well.
And we have more storytellers ahead.
Yes.
Our next image, St. Louis Storytelling Festival.
Yes, so this is Jay O'Callahan, and this is the one who's doing the Forged in the Stars program.
Is he the featured guy?
He's the special guest teller. He's not one of the 9 feature tellers. He's actually coming April 26th and 27th. And he was here actually at the very first festival 40 years ago, so it's really special that we're having him back. His Forged in the Stars, as I said, is a piece commissioned by NASA. He spent 2 years researching and interviewing astronauts and engineers and does a wonderful story. That's Friday, the 26th of April at the Kranzberg. Tickets are $15. You can get those
He looks
on
like he could sort of be inspirational.
He's very inspirational. He's very good at taking historical stories, and he really researches his stories. He interviews people, and he gets to the kind of kernel of the story and fashions it in a way that's inspires awe and wonder, and it will be an amazing performance. Yeah.
Let's look at the next one.
This is Liz Weir, and she is coming from Northern Ireland. In fact, she just arrived Tuesday to the United States. She's going to Colorado before she comes to visit us. She was actually just awarded an honor from Prince Charles in the United Kingdom. Yep. She does a lot of work with storytelling and dementia. She tells very traditional tales from Northern Ireland. She also tells a lot of stories from the time of Troubles in Northern Ireland about those conflicts. So.
We'll go to the next one.
Yes. This is Motoko, and she's been to the festival before, another favorite. She tells all kinds of folk tales, multicultural folk tales. She's Japanese American, and so she tells about those experiences, another bilingual teller. And she's been to the festival before, and she will be performing again in Thursday Later Tales with the other featured tellers.
And our next storyteller?
This is Noah Baum, and in addition to some of the returning feature tellers we have, this will be Noah's first appearance actually at the St. Louis Storytelling Festival. So we always try to bring in new talent and serve as a platform for emerging storytellers as well. Noah was born in Israel and grew up in the United States. She does some storytelling all over the world. She's going to be doing a workshop for us, Beyond Labels, Bridging Cultural Differences Through Storytelling, and that's going to be at the Gateway Arch on May 4th, Saturday. She will also be performing in Thursday Later Tales with our other feature tellers.
All right, I think we've got a few more storytellers to take a look at.
This is Robert Lewis, and he is a traditional teller from the Cherokee Nation in Oklahoma. And this will be his first appearance as well to the St. Louis Storytelling Festival. He is a good example of someone that may not consider himself a professional storyteller. He works on the Cherokee Nation as a social worker. He works for the nation. But he has a very rich body of traditional tales that has been passed down to him and that he passes on. So he incorporates storytelling into a lot of the work that he does, but he's also performed at the Smithsonian Museum of the American Indian.
We'll go to the next one.
This is Lynn Rubright.
I've heard of her.
We've heard of her. She's actually one of the co-founders of the St. Louis Storytelling Festival 40 years ago, and she's going to be coming on a little bit later to talk about her work. She is still with us. She's on our advisory council. She's been a wonderful resource, and she's still an active storyteller. And she has initiated this year, kind of touching back to some of the work she did earlier. She does a lot of work with storytelling and literacy in the schools, and she'll talk a little bit about that later. But I wanted to mention her because she's a very special part of the festival as a co-founder and supporter and friend. And she's going to be part of our Storytelling Retrospective Anniversary event, which is to celebrate some of our local storytellers. That's Monday, April 29th at the Umsel at Grand Center Community Room.
Well, there's one event I want you to plug.
Yes.
And I have a real fun spot for the St. Louis Storytelling Festival because for 4 years in a row I emceed the grand finale event.
You did.
Is that the right way to put it?
Yes. And
that's been a few years back, but I'm
Yes.
going to do that again this year.
Yes.
And I'm really excited about coming back for that.
We're very excited to have you back.
And can you real briefly tell me what that event's going to be like for people?
So for anybody that wants to see all of our featured storytellers, that is a great opportunity. It'll be Saturday, May 4th at 7 p.m. at the Two Hill Performing Arts Center. Great venue. We always get a large crowd there. We'd love to have people come. It's for all ages. It's a suggested donation, so that shouldn't be prohibitive to anybody. And we'll see all 9 of our featured tellers and Steve Potter.
And I'll be there.
Yes.
That's the storytelling, the 40th anniversary St. Louis Storytelling Festival, April 25th through May the 4th, various locations, including the final event at Umsel that you just told us about. For more information, go to stlstorytellingfestival.com.
Yes.
Any other last-minute advice do you want to give anyone?
No, just be prepared to be awed and amazed and laugh and cry, and it'll be a good time.
Well, thank you so much for asking me to come back and host that final event. I'm really looking forward to it.
Thank you.
And I'll see you there.
Yes.
Now, we talked about Lynn Rubright.
Yes.
She's going to join us in the next segment along with
Yes.
another storyteller, Sahara Scott. Who's she?
Sahara Scott is the youth services provider at Central Library, but she is also a wonderful poet, spoken word poet. And she is on our advisory council. This is her first year on our advisory council. And she, along with Bobby Norfolk, you may know the name Bobby Norfolk.
Oh,
He's
I'm a
very
friend.
well known, yeah. So he also does some spoken word. And I've asked both of them, Bobby and Sahara, to produce a program called Living in the Lou, which is a spoken word program for the
Great.
festival.
We'll look forward. People go to the website for more information about that. Lisa Overholser, thank you so much for joining us, and I'll see you at the Two Hill for the final event.
Yes.
Thanks.
Thank you.
We'll be back to meet some storytellers face to face right after this.
$150 over 90. 180 over 111.
160 over 110. I had a stroke.
This is what high blood pressure looks like. You might not feel its symptoms, but the results from a stroke are far from invisible or silent. If you've come off your treatment plan, get back on it or talk with your doctor to create an exercise, diet, and medication plan that works for you. Go to loweryourhbp.org.
If I would have followed a treatment plan, I would not be in this situation.
Selfie. Nailed it.
I'm Steve Potter, and welcome back to City Corner. We're talking about the 40th anniversary St. Louis Storytelling Festival, which is April 25th through May the 4th. And I'd like to welcome now two of the storytellers that are going to be part of that event. To my immediate right, please welcome Lynn Rubright, and also here is Sahara Scott. Welcome to you both.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And Lynn, we were talking about you with Lisa. I was talking with Lisa about you. And you go back to the very beginning. What were the first days of the Storytelling Festival like, and how did it come to be?
Well, Lisa had mentioned that we have a lot of respect for the National Storytelling Festival, which is in Jonesboro, Tennessee, and it's a little bit older than our festival, maybe 4 or 5 years older. And I was leading a project in Kirkwood Schools called Project Tell, Teaching English Through Living Language, government-funded project on using storytelling in the classroom in very creative ways to stimulate the imagination and creative writing, creative drama, music, and movement. I mean, it was really an exciting thing. So I would invite, that means sort of drag, my husband Robert down to Jonesboro, Tennessee to see what this art form was really about. And so we went several times, but one time driving home from Jonesboro, Tennessee, approaching the river, driving into the west setting sun, the arch was gleaming. You know, it can only gleam a certain way when that sun hits it from the west.
You are so obviously a storyteller.
Oh, I mean, it just takes your breath away, and it almost takes your sight away because it's so dramatic. And Robert's driving, and I'm sitting next to him, and we had just heard these stories at the festival in Jonesboro and the big tents and these wonderful storytellers. And I said, Robert, we need to have a festival in St. Louis. And you know what? It should be under the arch.
That's where it started, right?
Perfect place for it to be. Now, Robert is struggling with the gleam and trying to see, you know, his way in the road to be safely getting across the bridge. And he goes, which he often does to a lot of the things I say. I mean, I chat a lot about all kinds of things that are very important. And Robert's gone, And so he said, I said, no, Robert, really, really. As we're going across the bridge and I'm watching the arch, you know, pass by, I said, that's where it should be. And he, I don't know, he probably said something about, he's very practical in a way, he knows me awfully well, and this was a long time ago, he probably said, why don't you start one? Something like that. But I don't remember that, I'm making that up. So we're zooming home, and I'm back to my job, which is being director of Project Tell, teaching English through living language, and it's a brand new project. I made it up from scratch. It took 2 years to write it. It was funded by Title IV-C, and I was targeted for third grade kids. And I mean, I never gave a storytelling festival in St. Louis another thought beyond just that little conversation with Robert and me.
And then look what's happened.
Well, the phone rang. The phone rang within 4 or 5 days, and it was a person that I'd never heard of. This lovely male voice said, are you Lynn Rubright? And I said, yes. He said, my name is Ron Turner, Dr. Ron Turner. He said, I'm the Associate Dean of Arts and Sciences for the University of Missouri Extension, and I saw an article on Project Tell in the paper, and I tracked you down, and I'm wondering if you would be interested in meeting under the arch to talk about the possibility of establishing a St. Louis storytelling festival.
Okay, I'm going to stop you right there.
That's the truth. That's my story.
That's one of your stories.
Oh, yes, that's true.
You should hear at the festival if you think this is something. I just want to interrupt you, though. Sahara, you're sort of new to it. When you tell a story, what do you like to talk about? Do you have a theme?
I talk about social justice issues, women empowerment.
Do you have a
different
little?
things like that.
Why don't you share something with us?
Yes, I will.
Do you need to set it up or what?
No. So in order to get home, I walk the streets at night. I've seen people beat senseless over deals gone bad while cops cackle, look at them killing themselves. They say, they laugh, we ain't gotta do it now. Unite in homicide. Stand together though, red, white, yellow skin beat blue, beat purple, cause at night skin is as black as any other. Education and credentials don't matter here. Brothers and sisters leaving graveyards just for graves. These streets are filled with tombstone screams and I'm tired of hearing the verdict at the end of a gun. Trained to shoot justice into flesh, bang. Untrained gavels hitting skin, covering sheets with bodies. These youth are falling and disappearing every day. But these murderers put on their pristine uniforms with pride. Their black robes resemble the Supreme Court justice, the honorable judge presiding over people shielded behind stands of power, government funded, sworn in for peace, which was once noble when a little boy dreaming of upholding the law, but now the law is handheld firearms on the prowl for the defenseless, doing so-called American duty. We're in the world of these convicts dressed as civilians, dressed as televised juveniles that deserve to die, threats that determined to be exterminated like roaches in the city. Well, here's the key to the city for body bags that can't provide testimonies. They've ensured that. And I've seen the blood, held it close to my face, smeared in tears, smelled the hot anger and helpless handcuffed hands. They were just puffed chests, their bodies the only weapon left against Judgment Day, this old school standoff that leaves men and boys and women and little girls as still as the moments of silence to follow them, if they are worthy enough, and who deems them worthy enough. Tired. It's hard being conscious 24/7, bang, order in the court, I mean squad car, shielded behind a badge, protected, given the title of officers instead of murderers, able to justify with words like suspicious activity, strange, questionable character, suspect advancing, walking, bang, unarmed youth down. These graves seem too close together now, Your Honor. May I address the court? When did we lose our Sixth Amendment, the right to a fair trial? First, lay your hand on your heart as you did your Bible, as you do when you sing to your so-called American flag. Can you honestly still look yourself in the mirror and see innocence looking back at you when you charge so many guilty? Prepare to hear the truth and nothing but the truth, bang. Hear nothing but lies. Suffies.
Wow. Lynn, I want you to say something about it, but we've only got a couple of minutes left. But what strikes me about that is that really illustrates how different the individual storytellers can be, not only difference in their stories, difference in how they express their art and their delivery. Because she's totally different than someone else might be there.
You know, when Lisa was sitting here and she said, come and listen to stories, inviting everyone in our community over in Illinois and West County and the city of St. Louis, just come and listen because you will be touched, you will be moved to tears. There will be laughter, there'll be joy, there'll be humor, but you just created the spectrum of intensity and power, poignancy, the heart. Isn't she just, I just love her. I mean, but you see, this is what it does. Storytelling, and when you mentioned at first to Steve poetry, I thought, this is before I ever knew she was a poet. And I thought, oh, poetry. She's a poet. And then when she speaks her story through language so beautifully crafted and tight, and every word counts. I mean, this is an example of what an essence of story can become through the heart, the mind, the skill, the talent of the teller. And all the tellers that we've invited, they're all writers as well. They're musicians, they do movement, they are participatory, they get people involved.
Lynn, excuse me, let me interrupt you because we're just about out of time, but I just wanted a final word on the Storytelling Festival. You're kind of getting there. Why is it worth to go see if you've never been? In 30 seconds.
Because you'll never know. I never knew, sitting here by you, that I would be so enriched by what Sahara just spoke to us, touching heart, mind, soul, expanding the imagination, and humbling us to listen, to listen.
And Sahara, when you hear other storytellers, do they touch you sometimes?
They do. Yeah, I think it's so important and powerful. I think it's life-changing, and a story can impact so much, and not just what you normally think, oh, it's a good time, it's entertaining, but it's also heartwarming.
I want to remind people that the 40th anniversary St. Louis Storytelling Festival is April 25th through May the 4th at various locations. You can go to their website if you want to find out more information about that. The website is stlstorytellingfestival.com. 24th through April 25th through May 4th, excuse me, at various locations. And I guess you heard I'm going to be emceeing the grand finale
Exciting.
event at the Two Hills. So people will come out to that on Saturday, May the 4th.
Oh, it'll be wonderful to have you there again with us. We
Lynn
really-
Rubright and Sahara Scott, thank you so much. You're great, and I can't wait to see,
Thank you.
can't wait to see you on stage.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for being here. That's the St. Louis Storytelling Festival. It's the 40th anniversary. I'm Steve Potter. We'll see you there. Thanks for watching. Bye.